Kevin Weiss, bodyperformance.net, and this is week 1 of the bench press course. So this week is May 16th until May 21st. Pardon me for turning pages here, but like I said in the intro video, these videos are going to be very unedited, if you will, and unscripted. I'm just basically going to be telling people what I'm doing. I also want to say, I don't believe I said in the intro video, I want to say to people that this is something that I'm doing. This is not necessarily something I'm prescribing to somebody else. So keep that in mind, that this isn't a bench press program per se. This is something that I've done for myself. So I hope that you're interested in it, and maybe it does apply to you somewhat, but this is not a prescription for everybody to just take on. My needs and ability to handle volume and different intensities is going to be different than you. So just to get that out of the way right away. So before I drone on too long here about nothing, let's get to what I actually did this week. So my first day of my first workout of the week, I did do bench presses, bench press exercises basically by themselves. So I started with the pause bench, which is essentially a competition pause, but I use a little bit narrower grip than I plan to use in competition. I use the Pinkies on the ring grip, which I've used many times in competition, but my plan at this point in time is, as I get closer to the meet, I'm going to bring my grip out to a competition wide grip. I've used that in competition in the past too. So the plan as of now is to eventually transition out to that. But this week, the paused benches were done with the Pinkies on the rings, and I used 125 kilograms for sets of 5, and I did 8 sets of that. So that's a pretty good amount of volume. It's not a super heavy weight, considering, I guess I should say, what the actual goal is that we're going for here. I believe the BC record is 165 kilos in the men's 83 M1s. And so I'd like to beat that. You have to beat it by at least 0.5 kilos. So I believe that is also the national record, but because this is not a national event, I cannot break the national record anyways. So 166 kilos is the minimum that I would have to do. So that's pretty much what I've set as my goal, and that will be adjusted as needed. I'd like to see it adjusted up, but you know what? That's not always the case either. So my paused benches, I had 40 reps at 125 with Pinkies on the rings. I was resting about 5 minutes in between these sets. So I'm giving myself lots of time to recover. These sets are not extremely hard, I'll say that, because right at the beginning I caution people against going too heavy too soon. Like, you have to have a progression to what you're doing. So for myself, I probably still had maybe 3 reps in the tank on each one of these. So just trying to move the bar with as much speed and authority as I can, and really practicing the technique on each rep. For my second exercise, I just did my touch and go bench presses. I kept the same grip, the Pinkies on the rings, and I lowered the weight a little bit because I wanted to be a little bit more explosive. I don't want to say that I'm training speed work when I'm doing this, because it isn't speed work that I'm doing. It's faster than your pauses, obviously, but it's very controlled on the way down. A touch, you'll see that in the videos when I show the exercises, that it is not meant to be what speed work typically is. Speed work, you're typically using about 50% of 1 rep max, maybe even a little bit less depending on the person. So this was just a little bit less than my pauses, and I got 6 sets or 5 sets of 6 reps with that. So once again, 30 reps with 120 kilos, 40 reps with 125 kilos with my pauses. So it's a pretty decent amount of volume. I think it comes out to about 8,600 kilos of volume for that one day. And that's all that I did on May 16th. So the next day, because I said in the intro video, I'm not just doing bench presses through this time. I'll also be doing some legs because I'm trying to build those back up after my injury, and some deadlift type exercises as well. So going through real quick, on the May 17th, I did high bar squats, and I only went up to 90 kilos because this is actually the first time I've squatted in quite some time because of my injury, but that's neither here nor there. And I did about it looks like about 9 sets with 90 kilos for 6 reps, just trying to get the feel for things. Then I finished that day off with some Romanian deadlifts, 130 kilos for 6 reps, and looks like I did about 7 sets of those too. So, okay, on to the next day, which was the 19th. So 2 days later, I had a day off in between there. I did my competition bench press. So that means that I had my competition grip. So that was index fingers on the rings, and I did 120 for 6 sets of 5, or 5 sets of 6, sorry. So 30 reps, about 3,600 kilos of volume on that day. Then I went to the close grip bench press, lowered that down to 110 kilos, did 4 sets of 6 reps with that, so 24 sets of that. And then I did military press for my final exercise of that day. And a lot of people don't think that that's a good idea. I guess we're going to see. I don't know if how long I'll keep military press in. I myself feel that military press does give me a benefit. And I also just like the military press. I think it's important for your shoulder health, and I just think it's important for overall strength of your shoulders and your whole upper body. So it's one of the exercises that I like to get strong in, as well as the other 3 lifts. So the next day was the 20th, and once again I did my legs, front squats, which has been even longer since I've done front squats before. And I only did like 3 sets of 70 kilos for 8 reps, just to get the feel for those because it's been so long. And then I finished off with 3 sets of 10 for leg press and 3 sets of 10 for 1 leg press. And once again, that's just for rehab of my legs and build myself back up. So my final bench press workout of that week, so I did 3 bench press workouts that week. So early on in the program, this is quite a bit of volume, I understand that, but that's how I've set this up for myself. So I did Spotto presses, which you'll see in the video. The Spotto press is basically a press where you pause above your chest, so without touching your chest. And this is the first time I've really ever done these at any level, like besides practicing them. And I was pausing them for about 3 seconds. Grip was Pinkies on the rings. And I used 100 kilos for 5 sets of 6, or 5 sets of 6. And then I finished off with some dips with 90 pounds hanging from my waist, and then 5 sets of 8 low rows and 5 sets of 8 dumbbell curls. So those 2 exercises, you may ask why I'm even doing those. It may seem insignificant at this point in time to be doing stuff that doesn't relate to doing bench press, but I believe, especially early on in the program, I like to keep all of the muscles working. So I did my legs, I did my back, I did my arms, I did my triceps, I did my shoulders. I basically did everything throughout this week. It just had a very heavily centered towards bench press training. So that's what week 1 looked like, and the videos are up there. I'll also have PDFs of what I did this week if you want those. And I'm going to sign off there because it's already getting a little longer than I wanted it to be. So I'll try and trim these up in the next few weeks. Like I said, this isn't going to be a Hollywood production. It's just going to be a little bit of information for you. Kevin Weiss from bodyperformance.net. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on week 2.